You ever sit down for a second and think with this head instead of the other head, right? And I know as a young man growing up, testosterone and the drive and the sexual drive and the lust factor is uncontrollable. It's undeniable, like that drive as a man, right? One, I remember back in my time, we used to have a bunch of guys that were driven to score the girl and get her in bed, which is the ultimate goal. Frankly, that's always been the goal. It's like you want to get to the actual act as quickly as you can without putting as much effort, time, energy, money, currency, all of those things, right? You could tap dance around it and you could be a gentleman about it, and chances are she's gonna bang someone else anyway, or you can get right to the point and tell her what's on your mind. And sometimes this comes in the form of monetization, buying the roses, taking her to an expensive dinner, sitting across the table and interviewing someone that you don't know and talking about how the weather is, and just awkward. There's no chemistry, nothing. And here you are spending hundreds of dollars on someone you don't even know, and you don't even know her intent and her background. You haven't done the research, which is why I think dinner dates are a horrible idea as a first date. Horrible idea. Coffee dates are perfectly acceptable. The last I checked today, these modern women, no one's really taking them out like that anymore. So, they may say that I'm not going to settle for coffee dates. Well, too bad. There's the door right there. You can go out. Door's right there. I'll get the next. So I kind of staged this topic in from that perspective that if you can remove lust from the equation, us guys, man, I tell you, 20s, 30s, 40s, even some 50 plus year olds, we're holding our balls in our hands and walking around like you can't. No control, no self-control. No self-control. I have a coach that I look up to, and I've been following his work for quite some time, since 2017, 18. Coach Greg Adams, and this is his saying. Oh, his name once again is Coach Greg Adams. Not sure why I can't talk straight right now, but he goes, "Protect your meat." I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Did he just say what I thought he said? It's kind of a play on words. It's a pun in that sense, but protect your meat, yes, in that sense, but it also stands for something: money, energy, attention, time. And when he said that, my light bulb just went on like this, because it's so true. When you can protect your meat, in other words, control your lust, right? Not shooting up the club and losing all. I mean, guys, I have been there, man. Not shooting up the club, meaning that the drive, the things that I've done to try to get some, I think we've all been there. Us guys will put ourselves through the ringer to get the doozy. You know what I mean? And when eventually, I think this is kind of the advantage of being an older man, is because it's not that my drive has died down. It's this, what's caught up rather is wisdom. So the drive is always here, but now what's also caught up at the same time, as I raised up the camera, is my wisdom, the ability to think it through, the ability to cut off thinking with my little head, the secondary head, and thinking with this head, which is really the money. This is the genius that controls that. But a lot of us lead with that and then think later. If that makes sense. It's my job as an older man to tell this story, to position it, and share my perspective, because I've been you. I've been 18, I've been 19, I've been 20s, 30s, and I wasted a lot of time chasing the badoozy. I wasted a lot of time, money, health, abused alcohol, substances, arguing, cheating, being part of affairs and triangles and love cycles and all of that bullshit, right? I could have been building my empire, I could have been building my business and all of that stuff, but what I let get in front of me and that killed me time and time again was lust. Lust. If you can move past the fact, okay, let's just say, let me paint the picture for you. You get your 8, 9, no one's a 10, no chicks are 10. Let's just say the 9, okay? For her, she's a 10. She's probably 11. If you ask her, she's an 11, okay? Let's say you get the 9, okay? You know how much of a headache it's going to be to maintain that, one, and then two, you're going to put her up on a pedal stone, right? Three, if you sit down for a second and actually try to get to know her, you're going to realize, man, this chick's dumb as hell. And I'm being very kind about them, being very genuine about this. It's not that she's a bad person, but have you tried having a conversation with the modern day woman today? Like, they don't have conversation skills. Like, you not only have to take them out on a date and then pray on, live on a prayer, hoping you're going to get some at the end of the night or 3 weeks from now, right? Which is way too long. You're going to realize quickly that outside of them having what you want between their legs, right? I hate to say it this way, but really, I'm speaking for most men. We want to get to the point from point A to point B. We want to get there ASAP, right? But if you remove that just visually out of the picture and you remove the lust, what else have they got to offer you? You ever think about that? Think about that. There's a reason why they say post-nut clarity, because afterwards, your thoughts, you start thinking clearly, like, what did I just do? Like, can she not just go home? Why is she talking? Like, all of a sudden, everything that you were doing and putting up with, and you had to bear with, is no longer appealing. It's like she's opening her mouth and you didn't get to know her. Now that you've gotten the prize, right? What you were seeking, which is to let go and bust one for the lust, right? You're actually getting to see her, that she's a person behind it all, that there's a human being behind it all. And you, my friend, my brother, you're gonna have to deal with it. And sometimes some men are so stupid that they knock her up, and there goes the rest of his life. Then they off themselves. And they off themselves. Some men cannot move on either. Some men, most men I've seen, have extreme jealousy when another guy enters the picture and takes you away from her. Takes her away from you, rather, right? And it's not her fault. It's not his fault. If you think about it, he's doing what you did. It's just that it's come down to your turn is over, bro. And she was never yours to begin with. And this is where you have to understand lust. Is just as bad as you think your lust is, what does her actions tell you about her lust and desires? I would argue that their lust is way out of control, way more lethal, way more conniving, menacing, and premeditated than you could ever know her to be. That's how they operate. They operate like cats. You will never see it coming. Now, if you remove that energy from your second head, right? If you remove that tension and objectively look at it for what it is, you're going to realize this 8-9 piece is no different than the next 8-9 piece. They all sound the same. They all argue the same. And they all think that what they have there is better than the next person's private part. It's all the same thing, man. And once you do that, you know, once you do that, guys, you realize she's just human. They go to the bathroom, they take a piss, they take a shit. They also have their monthly cycles. Like I said, there's a lot that goes on down there. And if you think about how gross all of this is, right, you start realistically thinking of them less like a godly figure and putting them on a pedestal. You start realizing that she's not wrong. She's doing what nature intended her to do. Hypergamy is real. She's not a bad person. What you're failing to do is understanding what hypergamy is, how they operate, and how ruthless hypergamy is when it comes to choosing their mate, their selection, their sexual preferences, right? And to put it into perspective, each other's sexual marketplace value is actually a real thing. right? From the ages of 18, I cannot go any lower than that because I don't talk about minors here. But 18 to 26, 27, that's the peak, really. Even 25 is pushing it, right? Which is why the average age on dating apps that men prefer is 23, 24, 25. Don't take it from me. Go look at the studies. What men of all ages prefer, and it's we're not dogs for it. Sorry, ladies, we're not dogs for it. It's just nature. So while we accept your hypergamy, and us guys, we're raising awareness of what hypergamy and how you choose. We're now getting into that era of aha, the man is awakened. Like we're getting to know what that is like and why you guys operate the way you do, and why are you shaming us for choosing younger women, right? It should. You talk about equality. That's equality for you. Let nature dictate its course instead of arguing and shaming men for making their choice, right? Case in point, I'm an older man, and it so happens that I date younger women. It's just how it is. I didn't go there waking up one day and saying that I'm gonna, go out there and bag a 21-year-old, 22-year-old. But one, when we're standing next to each other, when we're going out to places, we look amazing. Like no one can tell the age difference, which means that I have done something right. And if I've done something right, I have the right to actually talk about it on this channel and put it out there and package it and present it. But also raising awareness that if you can control your lust, guys, you'll realize that there's not a whole lot you need from her. She's not going to really make your life a whole lot better. But I understand the recreational activities, right? The relief, the release, the dopamine, the endorphins, the neurochemicals that are released, oxytocin and all of that during the bonding, right? One night stands and all. I get it, man. Even I have my moments up until now, like where I have to fight it, but it's not as bad anymore because my wisdom has really kicked in. Like I'm no longer swayed off of my purpose, my frame, my perspective in life, and even when I see other couples, heck, when I even hear my neighbors banging, right, it doesn't shake me anymore, and that's the sign of a very dangerous man. That once you can control your lust, once you have self-control and discipline over your meat, over your semen, there's something called semen retention as well. You get so much energy, so much like power. It liberates you because you're no longer a victim or a servant to lust. And a lot of men are unfortunately addicted to this cycle. And you just add on other substances like alcohol and cocaine and drugs and anti-anxiety medication to live that high. Because if you can't control the lust, and when you are finally in that lust cycle, when you finally get the baduzi, right? And if you want more and more and more and more and more, which is almost always the case, you're inviting other demons into your place, in your mind. Your place meaning your soul, your demon, your mind, right? And you're letting your spirit go into a very dark alleyway. And it's taken me a lifetime to get here. Once I was able to control my lust, and this also includes porn, right? Which is a very prominent matter these days in our space. Because the average man right now is not able to get what he wants, like in terms of the bedroom action. Like a lot of men are deprived from that, right? And I'm telling you guys, it's not a quick fix, but what works for me is having a conversation, being able to naturally walk up to a woman, and you should be able to walk up to a woman and have a conversation. And if you've done the work, if you're presentable, right? If you've done the work, you do your 10,000 steps every single day, you drink your gallon of water every single day, you lift 3-4 times a week. Like I do 7 days a week, right? Moderately, but it compounds over time. And nothing heavy, but like again, my habits compound over time, right? You're gonna start assuming that when you walk up to the chick, she's already chosen you. She likes what she sees, and within first few seconds, you know that you are not gonna get no for an answer. There's a good chance there's a good chance that she may not give her number, but in this day and age, the social proof is your Instagram. And as much as I talk about dating apps and social media and corruption and all of that stuff, it also can be a plus as well, guys. So don't get me wrong. It's an opportunity to brand yourself and strategically use it. Strategically use it, right? Not go on doom scrolling and brain rotting away on liking every single thirst trap and falling in that rabbit hole and looking at nonsense and falling off of your purpose, because it also kills your dopamine. The more you scroll, the more you doom scroll, time suck, takes away from your purpose, takes away from your creativity, and gets you back into the lustful cycle. You know, I want to end the video with this one here, is that the blessing and a curse, but more like a blessing, is that I follow athletes. Kobe Bryant, right? Rest in peace, my brother. But UFC fighters, soccer. I look at athletes, high-performing athletes. I look at the magic they are able to do, conduct, pull through in the moments that matter and in the moments they never planned for. But its life is all about timing and preparation. And now switching it back to me, I am my own best version. I am the GOAT of my life because I put in the work over time. You know, all this composition here, muscle, I haven't lifted today, but this is the pump from last night working out. But all of this physique is critical for you, because when you look at yourself in the mirror, you have to love yourself enough and respect yourself enough that you're okay to compromise, not even compromise, but cut off and control your lust and just say, you know what, not today, not today. What's also harder is seeing another man, you know, sleep with your woman, right? That is a big one for us. And a lot of guys off each other based on that encounter. But remember, it's not the other man, it's the choice that she made and put you both in that situation that where you guys are trying to unalive each other, right? So it's not the other guy's fault, guys. It never is, right? Because guys, us men, we will always try. Even with married women, we'll always try. I'm not saying I will try, but I'm saying generally speaking, men will always try, even married ones, right? We will try a married woman. We will try to get another good-looking girl and try, girlfriend to another man. Well, we're always going to try to pull them and flirt and see how far we can get. It's just human nature. Which is why I'm saying that she can be trusted enough for you to be so invested in just one chick and have all your eggs in one basket. And for that matter, everything that ties all of this together and kind of keeps that energy so intense is the lust. It's sex, right? And we become victim to it. And we're not necessarily holding on to her, but we're holding on to the idea of another man doing what you're doing and penetrating her. That's really it. That's lust. That's lust. And I would say that for your own peace of mind, start training your mind and accept the fact that she's never going to be yours forever, man. I know this for a fact. It's working for me. It's worked for me. I don't think anyone is wifey material. And for those that are working through it right now, we'll see where you are 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Okay? Lastly, when you reach that point and you're done, you're hanging on, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your older pictures. Look at your health. Look at where you're at. The more you hang on, the more you cling on to that lust factor of the projections and no one else can have her and I can't stand that another guy is going to be banging her. Just think about how long that ride is going to last, even you let her go. She's already made the choice. She's already made the decision. You know, you're trying to steer and sail a sinking ship. That's way too heavy for you, bro. You know, so the sooner you can start training yourself and controlling your meat, controlling that lust, and looking at life through another perspective of just being the best version of you, you will also have more options to jump through and jump off to. Meaning that when you reach that point, you know deep down inside that you also have admirers out there. Like, you know that the next girl is gonna want you, which is why I think that even if you get into this commitments bullshit, right? And she's withholding sex and all of this, is you always got to keep your self-improvement game on the up and up, and you always got to put that number one. And if she has an issue with that, you can show her the door and tell her to get the hell out, right? Because your health at the end of the day comes first, and you have to put that in front of you. Okay, I feel like I've done like 2.5 miles. This is crazy, man. Just doing this, like, here, this is absolutely crazy. Like, I did not expect to do 2.5 miles. So I've done about 3 or 4 videos, and I think I'm gonna call it here. But let me know in your thoughts and comments of what you guys are thinking, what you'd like to see. If any of this resonates with you, definitely feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments and share your stories. Like, this is a safe space. I'm not here to judge. I'm, in fact, putting so much of me out there. I'm being vulnerable, right? So this is the differentiator. So as I say in my other videos, and you're going to hear me saying this more and more again, is that I don't really fear AI, because AI cannot take this and present it authentically. And that's why if you have a voice, if you're inspired by this, right, I encourage you guys to pick up your iPhone camera, buy a gimbal for like $50 on Amazon, get a lapel, a little speaker, and speak your truth, man. Because AI is not going to know this. They're only as good as what we feed them or we tell them, right? But these stories are just 100% real. And what we need in today's culture and society is 100% authentic connectivity. And we're not getting that. Even these artificial relationships that are nicely groomed and put on display on social media, and I've been there as well, like, it doesn't mean all is well. In fact, the more you're posting and showing a happy life, behind it, everyone's miserable. Even single people, we're all miserable. Everyone's fighting a battle, but everyone tries to become like a priest. They try to centralize your frame of references, like, I am the truth, end all be all, putting all these pictures and quotations as if like you're the Bible. And that's how we all operate on social media. So I think YouTube for me is a space to be in, and this is the real authentic me, and you take it or leave it. But I have chosen my happiness. My happiness is this: walking here, walking and talking. I'm gonna blow past 10,000 steps today. You know, I'm gonna lift a little bit this afternoon after this walk here. I'm gonna eat, right? So I hope you found value. I hope this is peaceful. If you're not getting out there and at the very minimum walking, taking your steps, you know, no matter what you're going through in life right now, you will get through it, provided you got your health. And walking also takes care of other long-term symptoms, right? Right? It controls your blood sugar level as well, improves your digestion, improves your mental health. It helps you clear your thoughts, right? The best gift you can give to yourself is walking. So this is how I present fitness on this channel, guys. Fitness is not just about the body, how you look. It's the mind and your spirit, then the body. Okay? Enjoy the walk with me. I hope you had a good one. Till the next video, guys. I'm out.